So I made a couple of videos talking about some of the worst iPhones to buy and some of the worst Samsungs to buy. Now I kind of want to hit on and combine them and talk about some of the worst phones you can buy in 2022. So just in case you haven't seen those videos, this is a combination of those two videos as well as some other phones I probably wouldn't recommend buying anymore. Now the first group, like I mentioned before, is the iPhone 6s and the iPhone 6s Plus. It really doesn't make any sense to me anymore for you to buy these specific devices anymore, or any iPhones that are older than this. And the main reason for this is because the future of these devices is pretty basic. If you currently own these devices, that's a different story. If you can make way for another year or two, then go for it. But if you're actively trying to buy one of these iPhones right now, I just probably wouldn't recommend it. It just doesn't make too much sense. They're really not going to be bringing too many software updates in the future, and that's the biggest problem. It looks like iOS 15 is going to be the last version of software, and it just doesn't make any sense to purchase this iPhone when you can go get something like an iPhone 7 or 7 Plus for not that much more money. Now, in the same vein, the iPhone SE, the first gen, is another iPhone I wouldn't recommend buying either. This device really, it was a great device. I love this phone a lot, but it follows in the same blueprint as the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus. It looks like this phone's not getting iOS 16 either, so it just doesn't make too much sense to buy something like this when you can go buy an iPhone 7 that's still going to be supported with software for a little bit more money. So those are the main ways to go and break down those devices. However, we do have another device, and this is actually with the Galaxy S9. As I mentioned before, this device, the S9, S9 Plus, even the Note 9 included, these phones, it just doesn't make any sense to buy either. These phones stopped getting software support at One UI 2, and I still see a lot of people buying these things on websites like eBay. If you sort by the latest, sold, you can still see some of these are being sold, and unless there's a specific reason why you need it, if you're trying to repair another Galaxy S9 or something, if you're planning on using this phone, I probably wouldn't recommend it. It's still getting security updates, but like I mentioned, it's not getting full-on software updates, and the biggest thing to keep in mind with the Galaxy S9 is that this specific phone is the predecessor of the Galaxy S10. The S10 is still being supported with software. It's a monumentally crazy bigger upgrade to the Galaxy S9 than you would ever believe, and they are a little bit more expensive than the S9, but it's definitely worth the money. And if I were you, I would highly recommend buying the Samsung Galaxy S10 over the Samsung Galaxy S9 any day for sure. Now, the other device that I mentioned before is the Samsung Galaxy Fold, the original one. Again, it just doesn't make too much sense to buy this phone. It's already kind of on one of its last legs of software, which is really weird, but it also had so many hardware defects, and the successors of this phone were just so good that it just doesn't make too much sense to buy this phone. Like I mentioned, this phone had a crazy controversial past, and like I mentioned with the Galaxy S9, it just doesn't make too much sense to buy it because the successors of this phone are just so much monumentally better than this phone that it just doesn't really make too much sense to buy it. Now, those are pretty much the main phones that I've mentioned before that I just wouldn't recommend buying anymore. It just doesn't make any sense. The newer phones are so much better than this one, and that's pretty much how I'd break it down for sure. If you guys have any other questions or anything like that, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.